I just changed majors. I'm a college kid. I have 2 years left. I'm entering my junior year, and I decided to change my major. Doesn't affect my timeline at all. I have 2 years left. I had 2 years left before I made the change. I still have 2 years left no matter what. And the only thing that I have decided to do after this change, the only thing that will change by me deciding to change my major is that my next 2 years are going to be different. Moving forward, my next 2 years are going to be different. And the Spurs and Raptors just decided to swap stars. There is a parallel here. I'll get to it in a minute. But first, I want to say the Raptors have traded for Kawhi Leonard. Kawhi Leonard is headed to Toronto, Canada. Meanwhile, DeMar DeRozan is headed to San Antonio, Texas to play for the Spurs. And many people are asking, why would the Raptors do this? DeMar DeRozan was happy in Toronto. DeMar DeRozan was the first guy that said, I want to be in Toronto for the rest of my career. They had a guy who embraced them, who loved them. And Kawhi Leonard, meanwhile, only has 1 year left on his deal. Kawhi Leonard's about to be a free agent, and it's pretty unlikely that Kawhi Leonard is going to stay in Toronto after this one season is up. So why would they do it? Why would the Raptors trade away DeMar DeRozan, their marquee player, for Kawhi Leonard, who probably is not going to stay? I think to answer this question, I need to tell you why I changed majors. I really do. See, the reason why I switched my major was because I wasn't getting what I wanted. There are certain things I wanted to learn. There were certain classes I wanted to take, and sadly, those things just don't exist. It wasn't possible for me to get what I wanted. I had to make a change. I realized it wasn't working for me. I just realized this isn't working. And you cannot do the same thing forever. When something's not working, you have to make a change. The Raptors did that. The Raptors made a change. The Raptors felt like they had hit their ceiling. They'd done everything they could within the system they were given. And the Raptors felt like they weren't going to get any better. Nothing was going to get better in the next 2 years. And I believe the biggest crime you can commit against yourself, the biggest crime you can commit against yourself, is that if you are unhappy, or if you want something to change and you do nothing, if you remain stagnant, if you settle and don't make the change happen, that's the worst thing you can do to yourself. If you don't like your situation, change it. The Raptors made a change, and I respect that. I like that. See, the Raptors felt like they'd topped out. They didn't believe in DeMar DeRozan. They didn't think he was gonna push them over the top. And so they went after someone who they felt like could help them push and get better and push them over the top. I don't think the Raptors expect to keep Kawhi Leonard. I don't believe the Raptors are planning to keep Kawhi Leonard around after just 1 year. I don't think they believe that. They know Kawhi Leonard doesn't want to be there. Everybody knows Kawhi Leonard wants to be in LA. But the reason why the Raptors did this was because it was their only move. It was the only thing they could do to make themselves a little bit better. And what the benefit of this is the Toronto Raptors got rid of DeMar DeRozan's expensive contract. They don't have to worry about that. DeMar DeRozan wasn't the guy they wanted. They did not believe in him. The Raptors clearly gave up on Kawhi Leonard. The Raptors clearly gave up on DeMar DeRozan. They realized DeMar DeRozan just doesn't cut it. DeMar DeRozan isn't what we want. And so now the Raptors have a choice. After one season, they can either let Kawhi Leonard walk away. They traded for Kawhi Leonard. They can either say, you know what, we're not going to re-sign you. We can't. You don't want to be here, so you can just leave. Or the Raptors can trade away Kawhi Leonard after just one season, maybe at the trade deadline. Maybe sooner, maybe later. But what I know is that Kawhi Leonard wants to be in Los Angeles. And both teams in LA would love to have Kawhi Leonard. And if I were the Raptors, I would leverage that. Both of you guys want him, and you're both going to offer things for him, so we will take as much as you will give. Create a bidding war, for lack of a better word. Create a battle between the Lakers and the Clippers for Kawhi Leonard. And I think the Raptors are in a great position. They can use Kawhi Leonard to build their team as much as possible. That's what the Spurs were unwilling to do. The San Antonio Spurs were not willing to trade Kawhi Leonard to the Lakers or maybe the Clippers and get as much as they could for him. I think the Raptors could really use Kawhi Leonard as a building block to restart their franchise. I like that a lot. And I just repeat, clearly the Raptors were unhappy and felt like they weren't going to get what they wanted from DeMar DeRozan. They gave up on DeMar DeRozan. They moved on to something else. And that is what I think is the best thing to do. If you aren't getting what you want, make a change. And that is what the Raptors did. I applaud them. I think it's fantastic. I don't think Kawhi Leonard is going to stay there long term. I don't believe that. But regardless, man, I think it was a very good move. And the Raptors are now incredibly relevant. I've never cared more about the Raptors until they traded for Kawhi Leonard. In fact, I can really only name DeMar DeRozan. They lost Dwayne Casey. Other than DeMar DeRozan, who's on their roster, I have no idea. Now the Raptors suddenly are on my radar and I care. That was a great move for the Raptors. They got a giant chess piece. Their team is now better. So either way, they win. They got rid of a bad contract with DeMar DeRozan, who is not a bad player at all. He's an all-star in the East, probably not the West, but he's a good player. He's not a great three-point shooter. He is not clutch in the moment, and the Raptors got rid of their expensive contract with him. They can either rebuild, or if they can convince Kawhi Leonard to stay, they will build around Kawhi Leonard. Either way, it's a win-win for the Raptors. Thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it. Remember, if you want to help Strong Opinion Sports grow, you can share this with your friends on Facebook, on Twitter, on Instagram, whatever it is. Help me grow Strong Opinion Sports by telling your friends about this show. And always remember, you can subscribe to Strong Opinion Sports on iTunes, on SoundCloud, everywhere you can find a podcast, as well as YouTube. My full entire podcast is on YouTube, as well as shorter, more interesting clips like this. So thank you so much. Have a great day, and take care.